let's just do it right and get some inflatable swans. I'm going to bring the inflatable unicorn and I'm going to fish from that. How about that?
Hello and welcome back to the Fat Dad Fishing Show. I'm your regular host, Rich Natoli, and we're going to be back for the first time in 2026. We've had some health issues. I'm going to blame Scotty for that. Scotty hasn't been feeling good. A couple of guests that were going to come on were not feeling good, and I thought that they were all sissies, and all of a sudden here I am today, and I feel I can feel myself on the downturn after a great weekend, feeling incredible. I can feel it. I'm not doing so well right now, but we're going to push through this one. And we're going to jump into it very quickly. Just going to mention the sponsors right off the bat. And if you weren't at the Oaks Philadelphia Fishing Show in Oaks, PA, you missed a great showing by our first one, Great Bay Outfitters. Paul was there with his team, and man, he had some serious boats, serious boats there. Including, the XTR. The setup was ungodly on that thing. But it was a great event. And if you were able to get out there and talk anything kayak fishing related with Paul, all the better for you, because this is a guy that is literally, it's not just his business, he's obsessed. And I think it's a good, healthy obsession. His wife might disagree. Paul, I don't know how self-aware he is right now, but yeah, Great Bay Outfitters, anything kayak related, Old Town, native. He's got, and if you want anything tricked out, if you want to power anything up, go to Paul. They do all that. So check them out. Let's talk about next one, Quad Stay Tuned with Kevin Driscoll. For the contact information, look, we've got it in the bumper to this at the very beginning in the intro. We're going to have it down for the audio version in the show notes so you can check it out. If you have a Toyota truck, a Tundra, a Tacoma, even if you have the Lexus, I think it's a 460, 470. These are engine tunes that can give you more torque, more horsepower, smoother shifting, better mileage. Give Kevin a call. Quad Stay Tuned if you want to look into getting that for your truck and getting it running more efficiently. And then you have me for real estate. I service primarily residential in southeastern Pennsylvania. Think Montgomery County, Bucks, Chester, Berks. As a matter of fact, I actually have clients in Lancaster and York County as well. So I pretty well range all over the place. And for anyone who knows me, there's nothing odd about that. I'll drive 2.5 to 4 hours to go fishing. So why not do that to meet with the client? So anything real estate related, give me a call, 267-270-1145. Or if it's just easier for you, send me a text. And with that, I'm going to bring Scotty on because we got some talking to do, Scotty. Good to see you, man.
Yeah. What's going on, Rich?
I'm fighting this off.
Sounds like I gave you my disease.
Well, I wouldn't say it to you because it came about way too quick for it to be from yesterday, right? But yeah, starting to feel it. I'm like the type of person, I think most people are, like there are certain illnesses that you get on a regular and you can feel when it's coming and you know exactly what it's going to be. So you're already ready to go on teledoc and just say, look, this is what I got. Just give me this medicine. So that's kind of how I'm feeling right now. I will know tomorrow morning if I'm going to kick it or if it's going to get me. So yeah, that's
my suggestion is drink plenty of Airborne, dude. I swear. Anytime I felt like a cold coming on, I would just pound Airborne for days.
Isn't Airborne the vitamin C and zinc?
Yes, but I don't like the tablets that you put in your mouth. I like the ones that you put in a water bottle and they fizz. So I'll drop like 2 or 3 of them in a water bottle and I'll drink that and I'll just drink those all day long.
All right, but that's a good tip. I'm allergic to zinc. If
it's going to get you, it's going to get you.
Yeah, I'm allergic to zinc, apparently. I don't know that it's true or not, but at this point, I may run out to the drugstore after this and just get whatever I can. I got work this week, man. I can't be taken off just because of a cold or I know it's going to be a sinus infection.
Man. I hear you. That's what I'm struggling with. I had the flu, or I think it might have been mono or something that turned into like sinus infection / walking pneumonia / like I messed up, and I was on my second round of antibiotics, and I thought that I was done, but I misread the bottle and didn't take it long enough. So I have to continue back on that, and I can feel it coming back already.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is what people don't realize is you and I, before we came on, were both like coughing the entire time leading up to.
Yeah.
So trying very hard not to. So apologize.
I got my nose blower and rag right here.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got a whole roll of paper towels because I'm a whole, high culture and everything. I use paper towels. So I'm in the garage. I'm back in the old shop.
I'm a wet nap guy myself. Ask anyone that knows me. I walk around I soak a big wad of paper towels. I wet them, and I carry it around in my pocket with me everywhere. It's like a wet nap for like my face or whatever. So anyway, enough about that stuff. Let's get on to the good stuff.
Yeah, let's get on to the good stuff. So look, we don't have a guest on to go really into detail on stuff. I've mentioned in the past, look, this is not some high-flying podcast live stream where we have people just pounded down the door to get on, unless some people do that have something to sell at that moment, and they're just not interested in doing it other times of the year. And look, let's be fair at the same time. This is like vacation time for a lot of people, right? Like, Scotty, this is your vacation time because you're working really the rest of the year, right? So I get it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So this
is, I wouldn't say vacation, but this is like my downtime. And I'm usually like okay with it for a few weeks, but then I just start to lose my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I needed it, man. Like me getting sick before Christmas was like, that was my body just at its breaking point from the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I got you. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I may be at that breaking point now because it's just been constant work. I had kind of like a role change. It's still, real estate, but a role change as well. So it's like, I'm working till 1 a.m. and I'm getting up at like 6:30, 7.
Yep. Oh my God. Yeah. Sounds like my season.
Yeah, exactly. So, but this is my real estate season is going to start in about 6 weeks. So this is my time, work now or suffer later. So, but with all that said, look, we're going to sit back and we're just going to kind of talk through kind of like the 2025 in review. We're not going to spend a ton of time on that. Just kind of catch people up on where we were and what we kind of thought about our seasons last year. And then we're going to talk really about, what are we going to be chasing and doing? What are our goals and everything for 2026? And I'm hoping that some people will also be in the chat kind of sharing theirs as well, because look, this podcast is nothing without the community and everything. So all of you have your conversations.
And that's what I was kind of hoping this show would be like. Man, it's just and I say it all the time, Rich, but if there's one thing that you were able to build with this channel and this show is like you were like the catalyst that brought all these people together that normally would never have met. And it's a beautiful thing. And it really does feel like a family. You know what I mean? And so it's just nice to see everybody in the chat. I keep looking down and, I'm trying to keep up with everybody in the chat, but I was kind of hoping everybody else would chime in with what their goals are for this year and us share ours,
Yeah. I'll do my quick recap, and because I don't have nearly as much as you, Scotty. I mean, you were on the water, so much. And look, guys, full disclosure, I was really on the water for actual fishing, I think 6 times in 2025, which is up from 0 the year before. So for me, that was pretty big. I still don't have all my stamina and everything back for, kayaking with the pedal kayak it used to be easy. It's not as easy right now, but it's starting to build muscle back. So it should be good. So the fishing part, it was all about just getting back on the water. And I was fortunate to get out with a few people. And the Osprey trip actually was the highlight of my year for fishing. So, that was awesome. And it was, it was great seeing all these people out there that knew each other from chat, and a bunch of people brought friends that weren't even familiar with the show. And we literally had the entire boat. I don't think there was anybody there that wasn't there because of the show. So that
or didn't know
awesome.
Each other already. Yeah. No, I agree. And that's a testament to you, Rich. Like I said, being able to bring people together like that, it's a special thing.
Well, I'm hoping to do more of that. And I'm hoping to do look, a lot of people don't do the party boat thing, but we'll do it when there's a whole bunch of people getting together. So we determined that we all can't fit on your boat. So we're going to try to do, a fluke thing in the spring, probably late spring meaning like May, after fluke is open. And then we might do something else in the fall, and then an Osprey thing. So that actually kind of goes into one of my goals, is to expand that. So expand the interaction that I'm kind of facilitating for people. And Scotty, you had a great idea. You said we should just say, hey, we're heading to this bar or restaurant this night. Who wants to join? Let's get a count, and we'll just meet somewhere.
Yep. No, I totally agree. And it can be somewhere centrally located. It doesn't have to be by the coast or near the shore points. Like, I don't mind doing something in Philly or somewhere midway between there and Philly. Whatever's easiest for everybody. I think that would be a great idea. Just kind of get everybody together to just break bread and, eat some good food and tell some stories, have a couple drinks.
Yeah, and I think that would be great to do right before it starts to kick off. Because look, there are a lot of lunatics. Yes, I'm talking about all of you. There are a lot of lunatics that'll be out on day one for striped bass. But there's a lot of people that used to be lunatics who might want to be, but are thinking about not going, depending on the weather. But that's when we all get excited. Whether you fish striped bass or not, the opening of striped bass in New Jersey, in New York, in all of these states, that kind of signals we're back, right? So it's time, even if you're not fishing, it was time to get back into that zone. So maybe we'll do something out at a restaurant, or 1 week before or whatever.
Yeah,
or
that
after
would
the
be
first
cool
week
too. But I know a lot of people struggle this time of year too. You know what I mean? Like with the darkness and the winter, not being able to do anything. That's why I figured one coming up here, pretty next few weeks might even be fun. Try to maybe plan a couple. We'll figure it out.
So I'll put a poll with a couple of dates on Facebook, and I'll also do it on the YouTube channel. And if you really want to do it, you really want to date, I can't tell who votes for what. So you can vote in two places. You could kind of stack the ballot.
So instead of a Salt Marsh Sunday, we'll do a Fat Dad Friday.
That works for me. I think that would be fun.
We'll call it Fat Dad Friday.
There you go. We got all the fat dads and fit moms and everybody in between, and we'll do that. Scotty, the last thing I did want to do is I wanted to mention, one of the big things, again, I didn't have a lot of on the water stuff for 2025, but when I took a look back at everything, so I did stop the channel essentially and the podcast for over a year while I was going through my cancer treatments and everything like that. So everything died. It went down to like nothing. So I will tell you this. What was amazing is my podcast now is considered 1 year. So it went through its first year, and it's actually 9 months. And we are back up to what we had going as far as download volume at the peak before that. And it's growing. Amazing. So on Buzzsprout, which is it sounds like a stupid name, but it's a very popular podcast distributor platform, which is what I use. It's actually considered a top 25% podcast as far as download volume. Awesome. Yeah, 64 countries. 64. It's ridiculous. People are tuning in to see about Fluke in New York, and they live in, countries across the world. 1,172 different towns and cities, with Philly being number 1 in listeners, Brooklyn number 2, and New York number 3. And that doesn't even...
Where's Delco on that list?
Delco's a whole bunch of towns. Delco's in there.
Delco's in
the chat. I saw that.
I know. That's why I said it. Where's Delco on that list?
We got to get that
Delco.
Yeah, we got to get that Delco social media to come on and do an episode with us. That's what we got to do.
Yeah.
And what's the dude's name? Oh, God, the striped bass fisherman that from Cut and Retie podcast.
Joe Cromally.
Joe Cermelli, but Bob? What's his name?
Oh, Bob the Garbage Man.
Yeah, we got to try to get Bob the Garbage Man. Although I'm a little afraid of him.
Garbage Man, he's actually local to my area. A lot of his videos shot in Ocean City.
Yes.
In fact, I got a bone to pick with Bob. He burned a couple of spot up on us over in OC. chunking them 20-ounce pyramids.
I got to talk and see. I got to reach out and see if Bob would be willing to come on for a show. I think that would be ridiculous. The only problem is
amazing.
His media team does caution you that when Bob comes on, he will say whatever he wants, any language, and nothing is off for him. Like he can do anything he wants. You have to sign off
with that.
So do I, but in the past I couldn't because of the connection with Salt Strong. I couldn't connect with that because of the language thing.
Yeah.
Now I could say, we try to not do F-bombs in this, but we could say whatever we want, and we try not to do F-bombs. Right. I think a couple.
I'm actually surprised I don't drop more because I cuss like a sailor.
Yeah. I do when I'm not working. Yes, I definitely do when I'm not working. If I'm comfortable with you, I'm cursing.
Even in front of children, I'm horrible.
Yeah. I'm not going to make a comment on that one. And the last thing is we did expand the podcast to cover some freshwater, and we're going to continue to do that. So catfish, awesome. Muskie's coming up. We're gonna be doing that. The trout is awesome. I tried to go trout fishing, Scotty, this week, and there was ice on the creeks, so I couldn't. I was kind of happy because as I look to the right, I can see where my waders are, and they're on the bottom. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I did this. I put them in the bottom container there's like 12 heavy containers that have things like anchors in them on top. And I was like, all right, so I went down without.
That's where my waders usually are. And then I'm like so angry when I have to try to get to them for something.
Yep. Yeah. So that's where, look, my nephew's in there. My nephew's in the chat. What's an F-bomb? Dom. Yeah. So Dom, for those that were on the trip, he was the one on the rail grinding the entire day to catch fish. And I think he was just there because he liked cutting up the crabs. I think, but
it's funny. I take a lot of like father, son, mom, daughter, and some of the kids, they have more fun playing in the bucket of crabs than they do actually fishing.
Yeah. Dom was definitely, he was cutting crabs for me too. So I think he just awesome. Liked it. And of course I get nervous, because those shears are nothing to joke about. And he's just cutting everything. Yeah. I was like, hey man, he made it through the day, caught some fish. That was a good one. So we are going to continue expansion into freshwater. But again, this is a primarily saltwater show. So, and as a matter of fact, some of the guests that we have planned for this year will be on to talk about multi-species. So we may, as an example, this is not an actual real example, but you should not be surprised to see a show with a conversation about muskie and a conversation about striped bass in the same episode with the same guest. Because
that's awesome.
These captains,
I love that idea.
Yeah, these captains and fishermen are just like all of us. You fish both. Most people fish both. So, and they have something to say on both. Matusin can definitely talk the freshwater trout game and talk striped bass. I was talking to a captain at the show, and he's, snakeheads and striped bass. It covers everything. So we're definitely going to do that. And I have talked to a few.
Not folks. Like me. I have a very small palate. very small palette of things that like I am decent at and can do at. I wish I would love to expand my knowledge of the fishing game.
All right,
You
so
know what
let's
I
let's
mean? Just into other things.
so let's roll into it. So what are your goals for 2026? What's your first goal for guiding for this year? Let's start professionally.
Now, I'm gonna tell you this. My number one goal for this coming year, and it's something that bothered me a lot. Like, I trust me, I'm grateful that I got to a point where I was this busy, but I didn't I didn't have enough time to be able to one fish for myself and be able to explore and check out new things and new areas and try new things. And first and foremost is, man, I just want to get out and be able to fish with my dad more this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's my number one biggest goal. Like, I mean, I think that anybody that's been following me for any amount of time knows how much fishing with my dad means to me. So that's my number one goal. Number two is like really excited to see where like this year goes, especially with the the leap from last year to this year for me was just like astronomical. And I don't even exactly, so sometimes like you've been working hard at something, you know what I mean? Like real estate, say, you look back and say, like, wow, I'm now five years into this whole guiding thing, and like now you're starting to see like the fruits of your labor. Like it
Yeah.
really took that long, to be able to make this like viable, for me. And I'm incredibly grateful for it. I'm incredibly grateful for all the love and support that I get, and even some of the hate, you know what I mean? Because in a lot of way, like I don't feed into a lot of that, like, and I really just keep to myself most of the year, and I don't get involved with drama or anything. But
Yeah.
there was like a few different situations that like popped up, or things that people like had said to me, especially in the past, that like only drove me harder to like wanna succeed and like make this happen. You know what I mean? So
So are you looking to make
that was a little
another big jump?
there. What do you mean as far as
So
what?
as far as the amount of business, because your business exploded, right? Are you looking
Yeah.
for
So
another growth explosion, or are you
so
looking to just kind of
yeah.
consolidate?
So I would more like to consolidate. Of course, like I always want to grow, but I'm going to keep an eye out. I'm going to be expanding into different things. So I really hope by this season that people are going to there's going to be more to Captain Scotty Sevens than just the captain and the guide. And what you see, that Sevens Fishing as a brand I'm going to build it into something and go into different avenues as well. So
I like it. Well, I could see you doing
yeah,
it. I
so
mean,
that's my big goal there.
you were known for your photography first,
Yeah.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
then and then
Yep, exactly.
and then the Salt Marsh Sundays, and then and then
Yeah,
a
that's
big
and
step, a big long step into the guiding.
mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. So
So so yeah. So hopefully people will be seeing more of Sevis Fishing as like a brand going forward. Like I don't want to say too much, or you know give too much away, but hopefully this year people are going to see more of that. So those are my big goals. Continue to fish with my dad more, build Sevens Fishing as a brand, continue to guide for, all my amazing clients, and get to fish for pleasure more this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just gonna make a recommendation. I think the fishing with your dad is probably the most important thing because you've already got the business.
1,000%. Yeah.
So I would schedule a day a month if that's your target, and just put it on the schedule. Dad, this is the day that our charter is, and by the way, Dad, you're driving, and jump on his boat, and make him drive.
Yeah. No, I do the driving. I'm good with it. But yeah. What a lot of people don't know is funny. Like I was actually having this conversation with them recently, but like I learned how to sheep's head fish. Like my dad was with me like every step of the way as I figured that fishery out and dialed that fishery in. Like he was there from the get-go. Like he was always on the boat with me. It was just like me and him would go out, like, and try to dial it in, try to figure it out. And it was years of that. And that's like a little fun fact that most people probably don't know. In fact, my dad, he got the first sheep's head on my boat, actually. Before I did. Yeah, he sure did. He wasn't even we were togging, and he wasn't even taking it seriously. And he thinks he just got a brand new setup. First of all, anyone knows that anytime you get a brand new setup, you're not supposed to go out and catch fish on it. It's right. It's like an automatic skunk, like the first trip out with your new setup.
Yep.
And he gets this whole new setup, and we were bailing a bunch of tog, and we weren't even remotely targeting sheep's head. And he hooks up with a fish, and I was like, Dad, that's not a tog, that's a sheep's head. You better take it seriously. He's fighting it behind his back. He's like, yeah, whatever. And then it starts running, and he goes, whoa. I was like, yeah, Dad, it's a sheep's head. And, he's mimicking me, blah, 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 blah. And this thing's running and running and running. And I grabbed the net, and it comes up, and he's like, holy heck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, it was a double digit sheep. Yep. Just on a bottom rig and a green crab,
And does he remind you of that at holidays?
No, I actually had to remind him of that.
Oh, really?
I did. We were just looking at the picture. Yeah.
Man, if that had been my dad, he'd be reminding me every time we'd see each other. Remember when I caught the first sheep's head on your boat?
Yeah. No, of all people that it should have happened to, it should have been. I'm glad it was him.
That's good. That's good. And all right, and
so how about everybody else in the chat? I feel like I was like rambling for a little while there.
Yeah. So I was gonna bring some up. Actually, we had a request for catfish noodling in there to do a show on that.
Really?
Have you ever done that?
I have never done that. And man, I got to tell you, like, I feel like I would try it, but that unknown of knowing you're about to get snapped on, you know what I mean?
Well, and what's going to snap on you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because half of those rivers, like where they're at, like, there's probably alligator gar in there and everything else. But
yeah, I would do it up here. When I lived down south, we would go fishing, and it was just, I thought I knew what a copperhead looked like. And then when I got to North Carolina, I was like, now I really know what a copperhead looks like. So there were snakes all over the place. And you go even further south, these guys, they're just jamming their hands on it. There could be a turtle under there. That'll take your hand off. No. And I think it's awesome. Yeah. I would do it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be the bravest.
No, me either. I got to admit, man, weird with stuff like that. I might be the guy that's doing it with the glove.
Yeah. Well, that's Blue Cat Bandit. So asking if we can make a noodling catfish video. I'll tell you what, I will look around for somebody up here that does. Now we don't have like the huge catfish here, but I do
Yeah.
know some people that do noodle them in the area or have talked about noodling them in the area. So I would do that. And Scotty, I'll make you go with me, and we'll grab a couple of
I
listeners.
would do it. I'll tell you what. If you put a sesh together where we rounded up a couple of guys and you're like, we're going to noodle some catfish, I would do it.
All right. All
I'm
right.
game.
We'll do that, and then we'll see if any people that watch or listen want to go with us, and then we can just because you got to have enough people to humiliate you into actually doing it. I think that's a good one.
I got to tell you, there's no one that humiliates me more than me. So
there you go. So
good.
you'll take a little nudge for that. Some other goals. I think one was Paul wants to sell that XTR kayak from the show. That thing was beautiful.
Yeah. Paul had some amazing stuff. That little solo skiff that he had really caught my eye. He knows what one I'm talking about.
The crescent skiff. The crescent skiff with the Tatsu on the back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that
thing I've been eyeballing something like that for a couple of years. I would love to get like a GNU. You ever hear about them? The Chinos or GNUs? Yeah. I would love to get a solo skiff or something of that sort. That's like easily like you could trailer up and down the coast, wherever. You can just go wherever with it. But Paul had some nice stuff. Man.
Yeah,
that's solo.
I was looking at him like, well, there's the one kayak that my wife and son want. So that he had that there. That's one of the native. And I was really looking at that skiff. I mean, that thing, look, you got a pickup truck. You can throw that in the back of the pickup truck. I mean, that's how light it is. So, and it's going to fly.
He said it's only 150 pounds, I think.
Yep. And I'll load my fully loaded kayak into the truck if I'm going short distances. I just lift it right up in and just push it in there and just, I use 3 straps at that point over a bed extender, but that's plenty. So I think that's probably one of his goals. Here's one for Benji. So crabbing and fishing 2026, targeting more sheep's head. He could do that with you. Yeah, that's not that's not my big thing. But he's going to be targeting more sheep's head. He's got a couple of other goals in there. Let me ask you this. Is your goal to target the same amount of sheep's head, or are you going to scale that back for other things?
Sheep's head's my niche. I mean, that's what I'm known for. That's what people come to me for. I gotta tell you, sorry, I'm coughing, but some of the striped bass fishing this year was absolutely ridiculous. I'm talking ridiculous, especially throughout mid October through early December, the Back Bay. I'm talking it was all ocean fish. It was all I'm catching fish miles from the inlet, in brackish water, and my boat is loaded with sea lice. You know what I mean? Like fresh bodies of fish. Probably, I would love to do more of that stuff. Man, I would love to do more flats bass fishing again. That's something I haven't really done in years, especially myself, but not a lot of people, really come to me for that. You know what I mean? So, but
that's some good goals. Here you go. Philly girl. So there's Kristen, Fishing goal in 2026 is to catch a sheep's head in New Jersey. Personal best is 11 inches, so shouldn't be too hard to beat.
Is Kristen in the chat?
She's in the chat. Yeah, she actually even said that
Really?
she'd be down to meet at one of the restaurants too when we do that.
Yo, okay.
Yeah.
What's
so
up,
it sounds
hon?
like you need to get Kristen on your boat.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, just grab her and Shell. They'll go together.
We're gonna make that happen. Yeah. I know that her and Shell were talking, and we're going to get a trip together for them. But she definitely needs a Jersey sheep.
Yeah. Oh, well, especially if it's 11 inches. My brother threw one in there. Yeah. Get the boys out to the water fishing. That's supposed to say crabbing and making some memories. And that's one of the things that I'll tell you what, there were several years where I kind of lost that whole thing, the whole making memories part. And it was just about going out and catching fish. And I hate that I spent those years doing that. And then I went right into, not fishing for a year and a half. I'm like, I'm not all about that anymore. So I'm going back to that as well. But, getting.
No, and with what you went through, Rich, it really makes you, it reprograms your brain and reminds you what's important. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think that's why when you said,
I agree with you.
When you said that you wanted to get out more with your dad, I was like, yeah, you should really do that. And don't wait on that one. That's number 1%.
No. And it's something like I always prioritize. This year was just happened to be a particularly tough one. But like I've always said, and I say it like in all my posts, especially like on my Facebook business page, what fishing is about. Like it's not about the fish or the picture. It's about going out there and making memories with the special people in your life. That's truly what fishing is about. That's what it's been about for me my whole life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You do sometimes lose sight of that from time to time, but that's something I've always taken very, very seriously, especially as a guide, especially with dads who want to take out their kids or moms who want to take out their daughters, like just the same. I take pride in that. You know what I mean? And when people put their trust in you to try to make memories with their kids and with their family, that's not something to take lightly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
That's really what it's all about. And I think that's a good takeaway for tonight. And, just as a reminder for people.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I got a couple more things in there. Yeah. I do want to just do a little housekeeping thing here as I'm looking in the chat. KCD is seeing different comments on the TV than on the phone. So for those that watch the live stream or even the YouTube replays, we're actually multi-streaming. So we're streaming to YouTube twice. One is in a vertical format for phones, and one is in a horizontal for TVs and computers. So you can choose which one you want. So, and you can actually watch the phone one on your computer and vice versa. So if Scotty is off to the side of me, you're on the computer one. And if we're one on top of the other one, then that's the phone one. They can have different chats, it drives me insane. But we're kind of testing it out as the StreamYard platform, which is what I use to stream, is recommending that you do it anyway, despite the difference in comments there.
The annoyance, yeah.
Yeah, but they said that it could happen, not that it will happen. So apparently it is. So I apologize to people if I'm missing comments from the phones, it sounds like. Well, I don't know. Maybe we're seeing them all and just other people aren't, but yeah, so just wanted to mention that. Those that are listening are like, just shut up and just keep talking about other stuff. So I'm going to go into just a couple of things because we are going to keep this a little shorter. I have some concrete goals that I definitely have for this year. The first one is I absolutely want to connect more with local businesses and local anglers. Again, I don't make any money on this. This is not a paid gig. I could share the stats sometime, but I make about $30 a month on what I get in for YouTube. That's it. So this is not a money-making endeavor, but I do, like, my payment is connecting people and hearing the stories of when they go out on the water, selfishly connecting with people myself, and, making new friends to get on the water with. But also, my wife has owned small businesses. I've owned small businesses, and I know how freaking hard it is to have a small business. So all the captains, all of the bait shops, all the people that are tangentially related to fishing, I would love to have them on because it gives them a chance to kind of promote what they do. As I've said in the past, I put Amazon links in some videos. Don't ever click those freaking links if you can get it at a local shop. Just use it to see what it is and then buy it in a local shop. It may cost a little bit more, but often it really doesn't cost that much more. It can be just a few cents. So I want to do that. I want to feel like I'm helping to make a difference for some of these small local businesses. And I do want to connect with the local anglers because, look, selfishly, I learn a ton. People think that they don't know what they're doing, but they do. I learn literally from everybody, kids. I can fish with kids and they're doing something. I'll be like, oh my God, they're doing it better. And you just kind of pick that up. And then the other one is very specific. I already talked about a little bit more expansion into freshwater, but this year I am going to make this mothership trip happen where we're going to throw some kayaks on a boat and we're going to have them take us offshore and we're going to go out and we're going to go pot hopping for mahi. Maybe we'll target some tuna. Or if I have my way, we're going to sit right over a really sharp depression in the bottom or over a wreck, like maybe the 28-mile wreck, and we're going to go sharking. And we're going to do that for kayaks.
Yeah.
So I got a few people that will do it. The problem is it's really expensive and for good reason. You got these captains who are like, well, why would I take you out there for anything less than a full charter? And Jersey charters are pretty expensive for, offshore because they're burning a ton of gas. So I get it, but we're going to figure that out. I definitely want to do that. I had the buy-in from the admiral of the Fat Dad fleet, my wife, because I won't shut up about it. So for years. So I would love to do that. And the only thing I'll say is if we do that and we have extra spots, because people can fish on the boat too. Right. Because once the kayaks are off, the deck is clear. You can fish on the boat. That's good. I would just say that if you're not an experienced kayak angler, you probably won't be able to go and actually fish the kayak that far off. Right. So because of the risk.
Keep me posted on that, Rich. I might have connections with some people that would be able to accommodate that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they do them down south, right? But down south, like Outer Banks, as an example, it's like a 5-minute run before you're fishing for tuna. Right out of Oregon Inlet. I mean, you're running just a couple miles, and you're in 1,000 feet, whatever, 500 feet of water, which is much different here, where you're running 100 miles before you're really hitting some good stuff. But that's the one really specific thing that I definitely am going to make happen this year. Yeah. So
that's pretty cool. It would be cool to see somebody land one of those giant bluefin from a yak in the fall.
Yeah, that's where you get the sleigh ride, right? I mean, if people haven't ever had that, like the kayaks now, like my kayak, I'm looking at it right now, it's sitting right in front of me. The thing weighs, with me in it, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds. So you catch a big fish, like a shark, it'll pull you. But you don't really notice it that much. But the kayaks we used to fish in, like my brother had a kayak. It was a sit inside. And you'd catch just one of the really big dogfish on that. And it would literally pull you right up a channel against the current. Awesome. Now imagine a bluefin.
Yeah.
Crazy. Or a big shark. Let's say,
some of the bluefin that I fought like in my boat. Like I think the one I ended up 5 miles from where I hooked them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
After an hour, 20 minutes.
But think of the advantage that you do have. Not saying that it's going to be easier to land one of those in a kayak, but think about this. you have drag no matter what. So they can always pull you, right? So so even when they're pulling, you're moving. So it's not like you have to jump on the throttle and go, because you're already going with it. It's already pulling. So, so you do have that, but that's where it's important.
That kayak will be throwing up a rooster tail, Rich.
Yeah, I know. I don't think I want to go for, I think you can see behind me there. I have the tuna rods actually there ready to go.
That's awesome.
I have one of the reels there too. You can see over what's my left shoulder.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't want to do a giant, because it wouldn't be possible to land it. The kayaks only have so much capacity, and you have to add the weight of that fish to that capacity. But I think, a mahi, some football tuna, some sharks, I know, because I've landed 5.5 foot sharks in the backwaters, and but you get a 6-7 foot mako, you can land that on a kayak. You want to cut the line before it gets too close.
Or at least get a clean release. That's a little scary.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about doing that. I definitely want to do that this year, and and it does. You do have to have a legit captain though when you do that, because there's a lot that goes into it. You need somebody that isn't just a weekend fisherman with their 42 Viking, who doesn't know how to maneuver it. They don't know, the larger boats. They don't know how to use thrusters. And they don't know how to pull up alongside somebody and land a fish for a kayak. Whereas most captains can do that, because their boat is essentially a part of them, especially the offshore guys. They can do all that stuff. They're landing tuna and everything through those doors. They can do it. Yeah. So that's my big one that I want to do this year.
That's a really awesome one, Rich. I don't have a kayak, but if somebody wants to donate one, I would totally be up for an adventure.
It would be fun. It would be so much fun.
Yeah, it really would be.
So we'll see if we can pull it off. Off. It would be great. There were some guys that said that they would do it, and they're like, "Yeah, if I'm just going out, we'll just throw it on the front." But again, they were like, they're not real captains, and they said that the problem that I'm going to have is the recovery and all that stuff. And I was like, look, that's a lot of responsibility. We got to get somebody that we pay that does this professionally. So
I'm with Paul. Let's just do it right and get some inflatable swans. I'm going to bring the inflatable unicorn, and I'm going to fish from that. How about that?
Those videos, Scotty, those videos pissed me off back in the day, because everyone thought they were real. With these guys, like, I just caught it at the beach and I'm 16 miles off. I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not, man. Yeah. What was that? It was the, I forget the guy's name, fishing in Florida that did. He also pretends that he catches redfish in the storm sewers in Miami. Like he just puts a line down there, pulls her boat up. No, it's somebody. No.
Monster Mike?
No, not him. No, I think he's more legit. Yeah, so that's kind of like my pet peeve. Those inflatable people,
clickbaiters.
Yeah, total clickbait.
But I actually want to do it. I don't know about sharks though. I don't want any dangling feet, but I'll do it on the inflatable unicorn.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if it is to be sharks, it has to be people that really are experienced. Right. Because all it takes is one capsize, one bad move, and all of a sudden you're in the water with it, which is where you don't want to be. But look, man, if we could go out for mahi, I would love that. Just find a whole string of pots. Yeah. Let the
would be cool. Or even like jigging yellowfin, man. Like imagine how cool that would be on kayaks, and that's absolutely attainable.
Yeah. Sorry, my phone is not silenced. I don't know if you heard that. So, all right. Any last goals that you want to share?
Me? No, yeah. I just want to just say how much I appreciate this community. Like I said, like this community has become a family, and I love that. And that's a testament to you, Rich. and you should give yourself a real pat on the back, because I met some really amazing people from the Fat Dad family. I really have.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm going to say this one thing. I don't think it's really, I don't think people went on that trip because I was there, right? I don't think people will do anything because I'm there. I think this just turned out to be a pretty good place for like-minded people to kind of connect.
Yeah.
And there are people in that chat right now that didn't know each other, and they fish together now. Yep. So it's all about them. If there's not that interaction, none of this is happening. It's just a podcast that never grows and nobody ever listens to. So I do appreciate
it's crazy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You need to give yourself more credit for it about it though. You built you were the vessel that brought everybody together, and I'm grateful for everybody out there in the Fat Dad family, everybody in the chat, and everybody that I've met through this. So looking forward to more good things in 2026.
Yeah, me too. And it just kind of, you know what, then I'll just make this the year of meetups and community, bringing people together in person whenever possible. So we already have this on Monday nights. So I'll see if I can, even if I can't go, maybe we could still schedule stuff. If somebody's doing something, next Thursday or whatever, and you want people to join you, let me know ahead of these streams and I'll announce it. I'll say, look, community member.
Let's get a Fat Dad group text together.
Yeah. May as well. Everybody already has my number.
That would be cool. Yeah, let's do it. Let's get a Fat Dad group text.
All right. We could try to do that. We'll definitely try to do that. I can't commit to it because that's a lot of work.
It'll probably be full of some funny stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to find a way that people can join it on their own. You know what I mean? Because I can't just start adding people. That's a good way to piss people off. But it's funny. So my brother said he went on the trip for you, Scotty.
You know what? I had a really good conversation with your brother at the show. I felt so bad that I did not get to talk to him on the trip at all.
Yeah.
Like not even once. And like I had a pit in my stomach about it for weeks. And when I saw him that he was at the show and I finally got to talk to him, I was like able to get it off my chest. And so Tom, I'm really glad that we were able to talk at the show. It was really good talking to you, buddy.
All right. So blah, 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 Tom. Okay. Here's something I totally forgot. So sorry. At the show, can you talk about the booth that you were at? Because they had awesome jig containers that people should really look at, actually.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'll say, full disclosure, I don't even remember the name of them. They don't have a waterproof version today. Maybe they will. But if you have a boat or if you're just looking to organize tackle, what are those jig boxes? Because those are amazing, especially the one where you can put the rigs.
The jig box or custom jig box.
Okay.
In fact, if you go to like a lot of my Instagram posts or I believe, especially with releasing the sheep's head, he's tagged in. When I put up a post about the show from yesterday on my Facebook business page, he's linked. That's my buddy Eddie Kim. In fact, that's how I met Chell. Eddie and Chell did a trip with me. I mean, they both do a few trips with me a year. And it's just amazing how this community works, and you just become like, okay, they did a trip with me, but like we became friends. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And Eddie has a beautiful mind, man. He really does. And he thinks outside the box. Like he's a forward thinker. And his jig boxes, I mean, I didn't get paid for being there. Like I was there to support him, like because I believe in his product, you know what I mean? And what he's doing. And he's a great dude. And I don't post about products or get behind products that, like, first of all, I don't get paid by anyone, really. but like I don't get behind products that I don't believe in, but Eddie's doing some awesome things and you really need to check him out. I wish I had this website right now, but
That's all right.
let
I
me
can put
see.
it. I can put a link. Don't worry about that. I just
Yeah.
wanted to mention that because there were some pretty interesting things at the show.
Yep.
I'm biased. I thought Paul's setup with those kayaks was friggin' amazing. Just the
Yeah. Oh yeah,
variety.
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
did think that those.
Paul's one of the big dogs over there
Yeah,
at that show.
The jig
He really
boxes.
is.
The jig boxes surprised me. And I
Yeah.
don't know the guy. And as a matter of fact, I don't know the owner. I never talked to him. He was talking to somebody else. And, I
Yeah.
wasn't buying one at the moment, so I didn't bother him. But
Yeah.
it just stuck in my mind. I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to order these. So I got the card with the information. It's sitting in my office because I am going to get some.
I believe that if a lot of his stuff is pre-order right now, and if you use it, I like up to, it might even be today or tomorrow, whatever it is, you get 20% off and free shipping. Don't quote me on that, but
I'll check it out.
Yeah, definitely give, like you're talking about supporting small businesses. He did his homework and he did everything right. And like I said, he is an incredible human being. So
yeah. I just wanted to mention.
Big love to Eddie Kim.
Yeah, I wanted to mention him. Sport Fishing Outlet. They always do it up. They're always right next to Hutchinson with the Fisherman magazine. Yeah. They have, I think, 4 or 5 booths in a row. But the other one that I want to mention, for those that fish freshwater primarily, there's a company. It's a local company called Stinky Balls. They check those out. Yeah, check those out. I looked at them last year, and I knew last year I wasn't going to be doing any freshwater, but it turns out that there's some fluke baits that they make too that you might want to try out. So that's another good one to check out. But it was a great show. For those that didn't make it, I'm going to say it is back to what it used to be pre-COVID. Almost. It's not quite as busy, but I mean, the line goes out into the parking lot again. And it was a full building, whereas 3 years ago, it was like 4 rows. Dave has done a great job building that back up, and it's not all jerky. They tend to fill all the empty spots. That's not what it is. It's all fishing stuff. So it was a good show.
It was a phenomenal show.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for a Philly show.
Yeah.
But look at this, Rich. We were talking about doing a half hour.
Oh, geez.
We hit an hour in a blink.
You have no idea how much I need to cough right now. So, all right, everyone, with that, we're going to cut it. I don't have the guest for next week yet. I'm working on it. We do have one. I'm not going to say the name, but we do at least have the 26th covered, we believe. But yeah, so
that's going to be a fun one.
Do me a favor. If you know people that would be of interest, send me an email. natolirealestate@gmail.com or rich@fatdadfishing.com. I check, obviously, the real estate one more often because that's my job. But either one will work. Any suggestions that you have, just know this, and I have to say this. You may recommend and say you have to have this YouTube person on. I'm just going to say right now, without saying any names, there are some YouTube people that I will never have on. And you don't need to know why. Just know that I will never have them on. So if you don't see them come on, I'm just going to leave it at that. We get a lot, especially from outside of New Jersey. We get a couple of people that are always recommended. I know these guys, and I know that I do not want them anywhere near this show. Because I know these people.
Yeah.
So I just want to make that clear. It would bring big numbers to us, and I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. So I just want to mention that. But yeah, with that, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Scotty, thanks for putting up for the hour. We honestly thought this was going to be a half an hour. Everybody else, we'll be back next Monday. Until then, get out there, get on the water, and get some tight lines.